fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. Told you I was probably going to do an episode on Wednesday, so here we go. I've got some discipline that was very difficult. Matter of fact, I think we lost it in arbitration. I'm going to go over some things that we could argue. Not that they weren't. I don't know if they're argued or not. But sometimes you just have to point the finger at management, and that's what we'll do here. So I've got a couple of sites. They probably wouldn't have mattered. But, you know, like I've always said, Arbitrator Roberts told me, give me something to hang my hat on. I don't think any arbitrator wants to fire somebody. Sometimes they just are forced to. But let's try to hang our hat on something. That's what we'll do with this episode. I'm going to go over just a few things before I get started into that. Last night, Branch 1091, Orlando, Florida. Had a fantastic time there. And that place was packed. It was packed. Of course, their business agent was there, but that's probably all it was packed. But we had a great time. Now, poor James, this guy, he has the worst travel experience of anybody I've ever met. His plane got delayed 2 or 3 times. They're taxiing, going to take off. A woman starts going belligerent on there, saying she's scared to fly. And so they take her back. That delays him. He finally gets in about 8:06, 8:15. Now, we've been going strong since 7, right? And it's like 35 minutes from the airport to get to this branch office. So he's hustling out there. When he's trying to get off the plane, like a 9-year-old girl collapses. They have to call in the medical team to take care of her. So that's not funny, but it is funny that it's always something with this poor guy. And so the meeting was over with. You know, the branch president did all he could to wait and finally ended the meeting. But a lot of people stuck around, waited for James. He did get there and was able to speak to everybody. But it was a fantastic time. They got a hell of a president, Byron Shelton. That guy's money. He's a hell of a guy, man. First-class dude. And runs a great branch. But had a lot of people coming from all over the place. A lot of branch presidents coming. But they were also giving away service pins. And like I said, the business agent was there, Eddie Davidson. But it was a fantastic time. Fantastic meeting. Got to speak to everybody. So, yeah, fantastic time. Now, tomorrow we'll be in Sacramento, Branch 133. We'll be there. And then Sunday we'll be in Illinois, Ottawa, Illinois. And so that will be Sunday, Branch 316. We'll be there. That's the 19th. That's my birthday. So I'll be celebrating my birthday in Ottawa, Illinois, Branch 316. Look forward to it. Wednesday, July 22nd. We'll be in Toledo, Ohio, Branch 100. That will be Wednesday, the 22nd, Toledo, Ohio, Branch 100. Then we'll be in Branch 268, Augusta, Georgia, on the 26th of July. That's Augusta, Georgia, Branch 268, the 26th of July. And we'll have a couple other places, but that's just what I have written down right now. Okay, so we look forward to seeing everybody. We're going to have a great time. Always do. Last night was no exception. Talking to that group, packed house, like I said. And we always look forward to going out and seeing our people. Great time last night. And we'll have a great time tomorrow night. You saw the fundraiser for the convention, the CLC fundraiser. And it's a comedy night. Laugh, celebrate, and support the CLC. It's Wednesday, August 5th. It's the night of the nominations. And it's 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And it's upstairs Comedy Club. It's got the address 1415 South Los Angeles Street, Los Angeles, California. 6 to 7:30 p.m. the CLC announcement and celebration. 7:30 to 8:30 the comedy show. And Neat Springs is 8:30 to 10:30. That's the young lady that's going to do the comedy show. It's got an MC and a DJ and more. Ticket options. Now it has the VIP booze. It's 4 booze. Seats up to 6. It's $600. All those are sold out already. You got front row reserve seats. That's 16 seats at $75. All those are sold out already. Your general admission is 210 seats. We currently have 124. So those are selling out fast. So get on there. If we continue to sell those, we will make another show after that. All right? And so you can see that on concernedlettercarriers.com. It's all over social media. So make sure you get your seats and come out there. We're going to have a fantastic time. And yeah, that's great. We put it out, I think, yesterday and already sold out all the $600 booze and the front row seating. And we're down to 124 seats on that thing. And I think it's just a day that we put that out. So there's a lot of excitement about the CLC and the convention. We're going to take over this motherfucker when we get there. Los Angeles is James Henry's home. He's on his own home turf, and we're going to show the fuck out in Los Angeles. Remember that Wednesday the 5th, we're going to black that motherfucker out and wear our CLC gear. People are talking about getting hand towels to wave like the Steelers do. But yeah, when the nominations are happening, we want it rowdy. And CLC is not necessarily the slate. It is the rank and file have gotten behind this movement because they want militancy back in this bitch. And that's what's coming. Everywhere I go, that's what I say. We are coming. And militancy is coming back. Integrity is coming back, which y'all know how I feel about that. With these reports on the finances, we need integrity back in this union more than anything else. And that's what's coming. And so, yeah, fantastic time we're going to have then. Again, the 4th annual Flag Experience Game, an unforgettable experience, a proud tradition. You'll need to go on and get these tickets. This always sells out. Come onto the field and help hold the American flag during the national anthem, so your kids will love that. It's the Colts versus the Texans. Date, September 27th. Location is Indianapolis. And be part of something bigger. Join us for a day of pride, team spirit, and a memory that will last a lifetime. $100 will get you ticket to the game and on-field access, a $10 food and beverage credit. Contact Tim Howe, 260-760-3712. 260-760-3712. And like I said, that thing always sells out. It's always a popular thing. Also, back with my man Rob Cozier. His CLC Bingo fundraiser. It's getting pretty good there. Join us for an afternoon of fun, food, and great prizes. Sunday, July 26th at 1 p.m. $50 admission includes 10 bingo games, multiple chances to win amazing prizes. It's at 1 p.m. Prize highlights, some AirPods, gas card, alcohol basket, gift certificates, and Bounce House gift certificates. I need to put my teeth in better. Signed sports memorabilia. Food and drinks are available. Burgers and drinks available throughout the event. And you can contact Rob Cozier. He's going to be the next Director of Safety and Health on the CLC slate. 414-379-7350. 414-379-7350. And I believe that's all the announcements that I have. I think so. Now, we are aware that business agents are still going out into the stations, which is a no-no. And we're aware of Region 8. My business agent is going into stations while the carriers are gone and leaving his material on the case ledge. That's not allowable. And we know that. People always reach out to us when this shit happens. Going back to that Postal Service policy that they handed out, number 20, if a national, regional, or local union officer has received proper permission to enter your facility for purpose of contract administration, do not allow him to engage in any election-related activities. The union officer may, however, distribute campaign literature in the parking lot. And my business agent is actively going onto the workroom floor and leaving his literature. And so we got pictures of it right here. It has his name. Stronger Together. Stronger through education, innovation, and training, supporting every step of the way, experience, leadership, and commitment. Now, this is the guy who has consistently voted against the Constitution to support that motherfucker Renfro. Consistently. This is the one who James Henry, through a courtesy, contacted him, say, hey, I'm going to come down to your region. I'm going to be at this station. And he messaged him, go fuck yourself. And so this is the experienced leadership and commitment we're looking for. New Orleans has 18,000 cases pending B under his leadership. And when he's talking about experienced leadership and commitment, no thank you. No thank you. You've consistently sided with this motherfucker at the top who's done more harm to the city letter care than anybody in our history. He's worse than management because we pay the motherfucker. And so I read his name out last week about the Constitution, where he voted against the Constitution. And so if that's the experience you're talking about, don't want it. If that's the leadership we're talking about, don't need it. And if that's the commitment, no thank you. But anyway, we are aware that he's going onto the workroom floor, distributing his campaign material. And so, yes, that will be addressed. But thank y'all for always reaching out. I'm telling you, they're desperate as fuck right now. There's desperation on that other side because they don't know what in the fuck to do. The CLC has taken over this motherfucker and they are desperate. And so they'll just violate the fucking labor law, you know? But we'll keep addressing it, okay? We'll keep addressing it. And I appreciate y'all reaching out with that. Look, CLC's going to win. Everybody knows. They know it. We know it. Now we're going to run through this fucking tape. You're going to see us get extremely aggressive this last month and a half. Extremely aggressive, okay? But we will not do anything to break any kind of labor law or do anything to violate postal policy. We're going to do it on the up and up. People hate that shit. Fuck off, okay? Somebody sent me something today, and he says, hey, this individual training record they're passing around is the PS Form 2548, and it's a training record. It's an individual training record. Tell carriers to sign it. Look, always remember, it's M00465. Write that down. 00465. And it talks specifically about this form. Okay? It says in part, as final settlement in all matters relating to this dispute, the parties at the national level agree to the following resolution. In accordance with section 732.15 of the Employee and Labor Relations Manual, PS Form 2548A is completed by the training agent and or immediate supervisor. That's the form that this individual sent me today, and I told him that I would address it. The initialing of this form by an employee is not a condition of employment. Employees should not be required to initial the form under the threat of disciplinary action. Should our employee elect not to initial PS Form 2548A, the PEDC manager or immediate supervisor should certify on the form that the prescribed training was accomplished. Do not sign anything. Don't do it. You got these motherfuckers. They are falsifying everything right now. HIP training is being falsified as we speak. Still nothing from national. But HIP training is being falsified as we speak. Okay? So make sure you tell your carriers, educate the floor. Do not sign anything. Don't do it. Don't help them out. That's not our job, is to help these fucks out, okay? And so don't do it. Don't do it. Another thing, 5-minute PM office time is crazy right now. Crazy. Episode 69. Now listen, you don't have to go listen to the episode. If you go to from8arbitration.com, find episode 69, it will have everything for you to download to fight that 5 minutes PM office time right there. Again, you don't have to listen to the episode. Just go to from8arbitration.com, go to episode 69, and it will have everything that you need to print off right there. Okay? So a lot of great shit going on, man. A lot of good stuff. I'm going to get into this discipline and I'm going to be gone. Told you this was not going to be a long episode at all. But sometimes you get that discipline. It's just damn difficult. It's going to be a loser when we go in. It just is. We're still going to fight our asses off to help the carrier because that's what we do. That's what we do. Management hates us for that. A lot of carriers hate us for that. You're always defending. I'm defending the contract. I'm defending the JCAM. In every discipline, I'm defending the JCAM. If the person's guilty, they're guilty. But I'm going to defend the JCAM. Management has a blueprint of how they must do things. If they don't, I'm going to call it out. All right? So I've got some sites that may help, may not. We may go in 10 times and lose 9. Give me that 1 on the unwinnable cases. Give me the 1. All right? Here's the discipline. Here's what it reads. Charge unacceptable conduct. Specifically on July 8th, you were instructed by management, now this is last year, to mark your parcels on city route so-and-so when you first arrived at the office. When the supervisor did her morning walk around, she noticed you still had not completed the task and you were instead having a conversation with a rural carrier. She again instructed you to mark your parcels and you replied, "Don't talk to me like that." She stated she needed you to focus. You then flipped her off and said, "Fuck you. I don't know who you're talking to." As the supervisor turned to walk away, you said, "I will stab you, and I have stabbed someone for less." You're given an investigative interview on July 15th with a union steward present. Management asked you a series of questions regarding this incident. When asked, I have multiple statements from 7-8 stating you were given instructions to mark parcels and you immediately lost your temper yelling, "Fuck you. You can't talk to me that way. I've stabbed someone for less. I will stab you." And also raised your middle finger to the supervisor. Explain this interaction. Your response, "I'm 100% transparent. I won't hide the truth. The very beginning, everything is true, but the stabbing comments, I'm not hiding anything. The stabbing stuff is a bold-faced lie. I said the other things because I felt attacked. When asked, I have 3 witness statements claiming you made comments on 7-8 about stabbing. Explain these comments." You replied, "Anything regarding stabbing is made up, falsified, not true. Everyone's eyes were on me. However, all answers given during the investigative interview were taken into consideration. Although you denied making 3 statements during the investigative interview, there were several witnesses that collaborated with your hostile, threatening behavior." And they went through a bunch of contractual provisions. Most of them probably weren't asked about in the II. Some arbitrators will not consider that. If it's serious enough, they'll just overlook procedural due process. That's just how it fucking is. I can say they didn't ask about one single thing in the investigative interview, and the arbitrator says that I don't condone that, you're fired. Okay? And so we'll always, that doesn't mean we're not going to address every single procedural due process violation. That's how I am. You have that fantastic arbitrator's decision from Renfro. He says it's not about right or wrong, it's about how you came to the decision. It's not about an employee's guilt. A lot of times it's about how you arrived at your decision. We have the right to due process. That's the reason it's called right. We have a right to due process. My right to due process never ends. All the way up through arbitration, I have the right to due process. Okay? And so we will raise as many due process violations as we can. Some will overlook all of them. I've been in arbitrations where they've overlooked every single one. Management doing the investigative interview and being the concurring official. That's deadly. They will overlook that. It just, that's arbitration. It always has been and always will be. This first decision, I was the formal Step A rep. This is a long time ago. And I put this case together. And it's arbitrator Miles, who's a goofball, but it's C28446. And like I'm saying, we're trying to hang our hat on something here. Okay, we're trying to point the finger, but look at them. This one doesn't necessarily do what the others do, but this, it may help you in verbiage because he takes a weird little twist on this. And so, but it's C28446. 28446. Now what happened was, this was a carrier at my station. Now I'm the formal Step A as well. I'm the shop steward and informal Step A. But this is a carrier at my station. And the supervisor claimed that they got into it in the morning and that he goes out to see him on the street. And while he's on the street, this carrier goes off on him and basically threatens him. Okay? Threatens to whip his ass, I think. Calls him all kind of names. Threatens to whip his ass. The OIG, postal inspectors come in. They go out to this bank where it's supposed to happen. They talk to the security guard at the bank, and the bank guard says, "Yeah, I remember the altercation. It was right there." And so Jerry is adamant to me when I'm talking to him. That's not true. That's not true. I was talking with somebody else. They were bringing me the mail. And so I contact the security guard at the bank, being the formal step A. I contact him. And I told him who I was. I read the report. I said, do you remember this? He said, absolutely, I remember it. He said, it happened right over there at that light pole. I said, talk to me about who it was. I said, was it a carrier in a carrier uniform and someone in street clothes? He said, no. I said, who was it? He said it was a white gentleman in a city letter carrier uniform and a black gentleman in a city letter carrier uniform. Well, the supervisor's white as hell. And he's a supervisor. He's not going to be in a city letter carrier uniform. The postal inspectors did not put that in their report. So I wrote it up in my contentions. I said the postal inspector's report is part of the charge. Part of the charge is that he went out to this bank and that the security guard saw them. Well, that's not true. Because the security guard said, I never saw anybody in street clothes approach him. I saw another carrier drive up. It was a black gentleman, hand him some mail, and that's exactly what happened. He brought Jerry some mail. Jerry was mad because he didn't want to do a takeoff, and they're forcing him to do one. There's nothing in anything showing that the supervisor ever came out there at the bank. Now, Jerry does acknowledge that he comes out somewhere else, but that's not where they said this took place. They said this took place at the bank. It was in the charge letter it happened at the bank. The OIG or postal inspectors in their report stated it was at the bank. Well, I proved 100% it was not at the bank. Here's what they did at the hearing. The union points out that the Postal Service agreed to withdraw charge number 3 on the notice of proposed removal. It points out that an employee from Regions Bank, Mr. James Yarborough, clearly stated in his interview that he saw 2 postal employees on the day in question, a white male and a black male. Well, if it's part of the charge letter, that charge must be true. Charge number 3 was not. Miles completely overlooked it. He didn't even care. That was my argument. Hey, if you got proved that wrong, the charge must fail. He didn't think so. But here's what he said. It was weird how he wrote it up. The Postal Service and the union have signed a joint statement on violence behavior in the workplace. Therein it provides that there will be no tolerance of violence or any threats of violence by anyone at any level. That's the joint statement. Yet even though this clearly states that there will be no tolerance, it does not indicate that removal will be the only penalty for violation of this provision. And that's big for us. Because they say it's a zero tolerance policy, basically. He says, no, it's not. He said, even though it clearly states that there will be no tolerance, it does not indicate that removal will be the only penalty for violation of this provision. Even Section 665 of the ELM states what? You can maybe discipline up to removal. It does not say the penalty for this is removal. Always highlight that. This does not call for immediate removal. It says you may receive discipline up to removal. Indeed, the agreement at Article 16, Section 1 states that basic principle shall be that discipline should be corrective in nature rather than punitive. To uphold a removal in a case such as this, it must be found that there is no possibility of rehabilitation or correction of employee engaging in this type of behavior. Furthermore, this case involves one of semantics. The grievance words, according to Mr. Morgan, were inter alia, do you want me to beat your fucking ass? He did not state affirmatively that I'm going to beat your fucking ass. There was no physical altercation or assault. Nevertheless, there's no doubt the words can be threatening and intimidating under certain circumstances. In my opinion, the grievance conduct on the day in question was improper and threatening. Therefore, it is found that there was just cause for discipline. However, given that Mr. Margetta's 16 years of discipline-free service and the precipitating events of the day which caused the grievant to lose his composure and lead to his improper conduct and behavior, which was of short duration and a one-time occurrence, it is my opinion that the ultimate penalty of removal is not warranted. It is found that a time served suspension would be the correct discipline in this particular case. So something like that may help you, okay? Even though we proved that it didn't happen. Even though they had to take it out of the charge, which was crazy to me. Because to me, that's game over. But that's language that we can use. You know, as far as tenure, it's a one-time thing. Both people were hot. And there was no altercation, physical altercation. But here's pointing the finger. Now, this is two cases that I had, okay, as an advocate. This is pointing the finger, okay? Even though it's not from the same region, we'll always want to point the finger. Look, this one, there's double standards here, because look in this case. This happened, and this was the penalty given. So it doesn't always resort to the ultimate penalty, right? The death penalty, as you would. This is case number C32094. It was out of Cleveland, Mississippi. It's a joint statement I did in front of arbitrator Wolitz. C32094. And this is one where a supervisor assaulted the shop steward, a lady. He grabbed her by the arm, threw her down. She called the police. They had to call an ambulance. Her arms were all bruised up. And so they removed this clown, right? The Postal Service. They will always remove them when it's something that serious. However, they will 100% of the time bring them back under MSPB appeal rights. They will go to the mediation and they'll bring them back there. They'll say, hey, he has the right to MSPB appeal. We went there. We got in mediation. We decided to bring him back. So we've already disciplined. So the grievance, it's not arbitrable. Okay? And so she agreed with the union that we have the right to a remedy. It's worked its way up through the grievance procedure. You have a right to that remedy. And so she's going to hear the case. But here's what it stated. The Postal Service argued at the beginning of this hearing that the grievance is not properly before the arbitrator. The union is seeking action against the supervisor, Rick Grant, for violating the joint statement. The service agrees that Supervisor Grant did put his hands on the grievance in violation of the joint statement. The service argues that this has been handled by putting him on administrative leave, taking him off the workroom floor, and issuing him a letter of proposed removal. So they issued this clown a letter of proposed removal. They will always do that, trying to say, well, hey, the union asked for the removal, we did that. But they're lying low-down cheats. And so when it goes to mediation, they will always bring them back. Proposed removal and demoting him to a level 6 clerk, that's temporary. The Postal Service's LMOU with the APW prevented his transfer into the clerk craft. Supervisor Grant went on to the MSPB to contest his discipline. Mr. Grant and the Postal Service of Human Resources Management agreed to change his demotion to a letter of warning in lieu of a 14-day suspension. Now, first off, you gave him a notice of proposed removal. How do you get a 14-day suspension? You gave him a letter of warning in lieu of. Now, y'all remember in that case, and I'm going to talk about it in just a second, where the district manager, where she says, well, we gave him a letter of warning in lieu of a 14-day suspension. I said, so you gave him a letter of warning? No, we gave him a 14-day suspension. No, you gave him a letter of warning in lieu of. And I asked her what the term in lieu of meant. Remember that? I had that closing on one of my episodes. That's one of the ones the postal inspectors, when they came and got me, were trying to get me on. And I told them I didn't record that, but I did put it up. But anyway, the motion to a letter of warning in lieu of a 14-day suspension to remain in his record for 2 years. The Postal Service maintains that this was proper discipline for the Supervisor Grant's behavior. Now, he assaulted us, and the proper discipline was a letter of warning, okay? To now address the same misconduct as double jeopardy, and she said that's not true, okay? She said that the union has a right to a remedy, okay? And that's a lot of things going on right now where they say, hey, we've already done that. It's not arbitrable. Well, no, the union has a right to the remedy of that case, okay, of that grievance. And so here you have an assault on a carrier by a supervisor, a physical assault. They agreed to it, give him a notice of proposed removal, go to MSPB, and Human Labor Relations and him get together and decide to reduce that proposed removal to a letter of warning. Now, I'm going to take that into arbitration. I'm going to say, what's the difference here? You got somebody that it's in question whether or not it even happened, but he says, I'm going to stab you, or I've stabbed others, or whatever. No assault, heat of the moment. They get a letter of warning for assaulting us, and they're going to go straight to removal on this gentleman here. It's the double standard of it all. What's the difference? Is it because they're in supervision? They should be held to a higher standard, right? They're in supervision. They should be held to the ultimate standard. But here we have a supervisor assaulting us, letter of warning. Here you got a carrier that said, whether or not it's true or not, I can stab you or I will stab you or whatever, removal. Why is that fair? Here's another one, the one I was talking about earlier. This is Arbitrator Alexander. Arbitrator Alexander, C35809. 35809. And this is on the notice of proposed removal as well, but this is out of the decision, page 8. Specification 2, on June 25th, 2021, you had a verbal outburst on the workroom floor during which you shouted and yelled on the workroom floor. I find that the record supports the specification on June 25th. You participated in a loud verbal altercation on the workroom floor with a city letter carrier that was witnessed by others. Specification 3, you stated, I want to shoot his ass right now, in reference to employee Jones. I find that the record supports this specification. Initially, you denied having made the statement, but this in the investigative interview, when a recording of the incident was played for you, you were heard saying, I want to shoot his ass right now, and you acknowledged that that was your voice on the recording. So here's a manager, station manager, that gets into it with the city letter carrier. He threatens to shoot and kill him. Okay? He gets questioned by the OIG, he denies it. They play the recording. So he lies to the federal agents. They play the recording, and he has to admit, that's me. So I threatened to shoot somebody, then I lie to the federal agents, okay? On November 29th, I received a settlement offer from your NAPS representative. Now, NAPS is not their union. That's just their representatives. The offer contained 3 tentative stipulations. The notice of proposed removal issued to Felton dated 8/27 will be reduced to a letter of warning in lieu of a 14-day suspension. Felton be returned to his office of record. And a review of this action will be conducted. If no further corrective action of this nature is taken during this time, the letter of warning in lieu of a 14-day suspension will be removed from all records and files. So here you have a gentleman threatening to shoot and kill one of us. Lies to the federal agents about it. Gets issued a notice of proposed removal. And again, going to MSPB, they meet with NAPS, and they agree to reduce this removal action to a letter of warning. This is someone who threatened to kill one of us. And you're going to reduce it to a letter of warning. Why is it that when it comes to us, the ones who do the work every fucking day, what is it that separates us from them? They're supposed to be held to a higher standard, right? But yet they can assault us, they can threaten to kill us, a letter of warning. But we, whether it happened or not, I will stab you. You're fired. You're fired. Those are arguments that we'll have to make. Will they work? Don't know. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, we're probably going to lose that because there is the double standard. We're held to a higher standard than management, which is crazy to me. We should not be held to a higher standard. They should be. They make more money than we do. They're in a managerial position. They are the service, the employer. But time and time again, we are held to a higher standard than management. And this is the perfect example. Just 2 seconds of a bad day, fired. Here you have somebody assaulting a shop steward on the workroom floor. Everybody saw it. Police called, ambulance called, pictures taken, letter of warning. Here you have a manager arguing with a city letter carrier, threatening to shoot and kill him, lying to the federal agents about it, getting caught, letter of warning. Why is it the double standard? Why is it there? I have no idea. We contribute to that a lot with things that we do or don't do nationally through shit. But anyway, I'm going to have the Wolf on next week. James Henry will be on. He's tired. My man's tired. He's going everywhere. Pray for his mama. Okay? His mother is not doing well. And hopefully he don't mind me saying that. He's there right now seeing her. She's not well at all. And so pray for his mother, pray for his family and him. during this time, yeah, you can tell it's weighing on him heavy. It's weighing on him heavy. So I love my brother. Be praying for him. Y'all pray for him, okay? Because that's tough when you're looking at losing your mama. And so, but yeah, hey, I love you. I love you. We're going to overcome all this shit we've been dealing with for the last 3 years, okay? We're going to overcome all this shit. Militancy is being put back into the NALC. Militancy is coming back, I promise, okay? Retribution is the name of the game. Again, Wednesday, August 5th, nominations, blackout. Wear your CLC gear. If you don't have any, go to concernedlettercarriers.com, order you a shirt. We're going to wear those motherfuckers in there with pride and take over that bitch August 5th. All right? Hey, I love you. Sacramento, we'll see you tomorrow. I'll talk to y'all Monday. I'll have the wolf with me, all right? Y'all be safe out there. Please be safe. It's hot. Take breaks as needed in this heat. Hydrate, 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 okay? I love you, Light Blue, and I'll talk to you Monday, all right? Bye.